What's going on, everyone? This is Erik with Full Man MMA, and today I am joined by New England Cartel's Tyson Chartier, who's going to be in the corner of Calvin Kattar in his main event against Giga Chikadze on January 15th. Tyson, how are you?
Good, man. Just out here in Vegas a week early. I guess you could say I'm enjoying the weather, but it's better than back home in New Hampshire. It's snowing a foot today, so I can't complain.
I was going to say it's a lot nicer than it is here on the East Coast. When did you guys arrive to Vegas?
Tuesday night. We came out here Tuesday night, so we try to come out a week early because normally for a UFC fight week, you come out on Tuesday of fight week, but we like to try to come out as a team a week early, just get like acclimated and get some training into the PI, get a bunch of PT, and then have that like extra, 7 nights for the team to just be under one roof, bond, and kind of have that last like finishing touches on camp.
It's certainly nice to be avoiding the snowstorm too, so I can't blame you. We're going to get to Calvin's fight in a minute, but you had a pretty busy 2021 with another big fighter of yours, Rob Font. 2 huge fights, both against former champions. What's it been like for you to see him reach this point in his career? He's been in the UFC for a while, but now he's getting mentioned alongside names like TJ Dillashaw and Jose Aldo. So what's that been like for you to see?
I'm proud. Like, I'm happy for him as a friend, as a coach. I'm super proud of him, and it's surreal because when I first started training with Rob, he was just starting to train MMA, not even thinking about his first fight. Jose Aldo was already the champion in the WEC. So to see fast forward 10 years and then now we're fighting Jose Aldo in a main event on ESPN, it just shows how far he's come as a person and as an athlete, and then it also shows how far our team's come. So it's it's just super rewarding. You can choose to judge everything by wins and losses, or you can choose to really like take a step back and like look at the silver lining of everything. And I think if you look at 2021, it's like, yeah, we finished on a loss with Aldo, but man, like we got to the spot to be able to fight Aldo. We took the fight to him, hurt him just as he got a broken eye socket just like we did, and it just wasn't our night. But really, you got to take away the benefits of that is like how well he did look, aside from those, that power punch at the end of the first round that kind of affected him the next 4 rounds.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was a super close fight. It's been incredible to watch him grow over the past few years. I know Rob is out there in Vegas with you to help corner Calvin. Is that correct?
Yep, he's here. He's enjoying himself. He doesn't have to worry about the weight cut this time, so he's having a lot more fun this week than he was back in November for his fight.
How involved has he been in helping Calvin prepare for this fight? You said he was nursing the eye injury, of course.
Yeah, so he's not necessarily a training partner on the mat because he can't do any contact right now, but he's at all the sparring sessions. He's there in between the rounds, giving him advice with me. He's an integral part of Calvin's camp because he's really like Calvin's big brother when it comes to MMA, even though they're the same age. It's like he was in the UFC before Calvin, and he's definitely, they're best friends, but he's also like a mentor to Calvin when it comes to Calvin's fight. So it's really cool to see those two, pick up the slack in each other's camps and really just be selfless with each other. And Rob's been a huge asset to Calvin for his whole career since we all linked up.
Is Rob itching to get back in there after that last fight, or is he enjoying the time off right now?
It's both. You enjoy like not having the pressure of the weight cut and fight coming up, and you get to enjoy the holidays a little bit more than Calvin would have. But you also you're sitting on a loss and you want to come back and prove that you're still a contender. So like he's itching to do that, and Rob's a competitor, so he's he had won 4 in a row, and then that was a tough one, and he's excited about the next one and improving upon what just happened December 4th.
For sure. Well, let's talk about Calvin a little bit. Obviously, the man of the hour right now. Almost exactly a year from this next fight was the Max Holloway fight, early 2021. After a war like that, I was curious, how much time did it take for Calvin to be able to jump back into training 100%? I would imagine he took a little bit of time off.
Yeah. So, well, there's what Calvin wanted to do and then what he did. Like, so literally, like, we got out of the hospital that morning because we fought in the morning. Then we got out of the hospital. They made us quarantine for 8 hours in our room because we were in Abu Dhabi. And then we broke quarantine. Once we got out of quarantine, Calvin's like, can I go for a jog? So that's how much of a savage he is, he's literally like comes out of that fight and the next day wants to go for a run. And we're like, no, you got to relax, So, we didn't do any contact for 6 months. It was just drilling and light stuff. We took every precaution that we could just to be safe because we knew we had time and we knew we probably weren't going to fight till the fall at the earliest. So once he got back on the mats and started getting some light contact, we just started really, really working on like all the things that like we saw that we could build upon. And I always say it's like we're trying to build new weapons and sharpen the current ones. And that's what he did. So it's been a year for him to just work on some stuff that he didn't have the chance to work on because we were basically in fight camp for like 3 years straight. So, you know, sometimes time off can be a blessing as long as you utilize it the correct way. And I feel like he has. So, you know, that'll show on the 15th.
Mm-hmm. And obviously the fight was a year ago, but I feel like people still talk about it today. After a war like that, people were kind of quick to debate whether or not you in the corner should have thrown in the towel. But obviously, you know Calvin better than anybody. You're his coach. You're also his friend. So does it kind of annoy you to see, you know, how much people were hung up on the fact that, you know, kind of armchair, you know, trying to judge what you guys should have done from the couch? Did that annoy you at all? Did that affect you?
I try to be like pretty unbiased about this stuff and really try to take a step back and look at it objectively. Like when I watch a football game and the Patriots don't go for it on fourth down when I think they should have, I definitely have an opinion on that. But I'm not Bill Belichick. So I get why they have the opinion and I understand it. And, you know, I don't take it to heart. It's the only person I owe explanations to is Calvin and his mom really. And our team, you know, we all hold each other accountable. And, you know, I think I still don't regret not throwing in the towel. I think we did the right thing. I think, you know, based on what we were seeing and all that, you know, we don't have to rehash it, but I really still don't feel like I, you know, made a mistake. And it's a call that you could question for the rest of our lives. And, you know, we've definitely, you know, we moved on from it as a team. Calvin was happy I didn't stop it. His mom was happy I didn't stop it. You know, in hindsight, like going back and looking, it's like Herb Dean had a better view than I did on a lot of the stuff. And, you know, I was thinking of, I've said this before, it's like going into the fifth round, I was, all right, if he's not there, I'm going to stop it. And he was so lucid on the stool in the fifth round. And he was like, "Oh, you good?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm good." I was like, "You good?" He's like, "I'm fucking good," you know? And he was like, he was so there. He was so with it. And then even right after the fight, when Dana came over to check on him, he was like, "Holy shit, like he's fine," you know? And obviously you could say fine, it's a relative term, but based on what you were seeing and how he was acting, it was two different things. So yeah, you know, it is what it is. And hopefully we just use those 5 rounds and use it to build confidence because we fought the best Max Holloway we've ever seen. I mean, the guy was like basically in the Matrix for 25 minutes. And, you know, it was an impressive performance by him. I don't think I've ever seen him look as good as he looked. And Calvin did some things that he wished he would have done differently and that we wish he would have done differently. And even the team, you know, there's some calls that, you know, I think we could have done better, things with the camp. So, you know, hopefully we all grow from that as a team and that experience. If anything, I think it made us tighter as a team because everybody started to question things and it solidified us as a team. It's like, no, like we don't care what they say. Like we care what we think, you know? And so if anything, the haters pulled us closer together than try to pull us apart. So
that's a great outlook to have. I wanted to ask, because Calvin's been incredibly active over the past several years. He fought 2 or 3 times a year since 2018. So, you know, as a coach, I'm sure you've been able to see what's been the biggest benefit of him having so much time off between fights this time.
Just healing, you know, we were going into those last 3 fights, you know, we were wearing a mask the whole Ige camp because he had broken his nose against Jeremy Stevens. And we were like not throwing our right hand in a couple camps because it was like, you know, there was an issue there that, you know, we just wanted to save it for the fight. And so we were limping into all these fights, you know, Zabit, Stevens, Ige, and even Max, you know, limping into these fights. And just he didn't have the time to heal in between camps. You know, we were going to take some time off after the Stevens fight. Then they offer us a main event on Fight Island against Ige. And we're like, all right, let's do it. It's a, you know, a good opportunity. And we like the matchup. And, you know, a lot of buzz around Fight Island and stuff like that. So it made sense, got us a new contract, all that. But now, you know, he's finally able to heal. This is the first time he's going into a fight without a damaged hand or a damaged nose in probably 3 years. So it's been nice for him to take that year, work on things that, you know, we've been meaning to work on, but camp just kind of gets in the way. And then also sharpen the weapons that he already has, but then doing it in a manner where he's actually 100%.
For sure, for sure. I was wondering, how did this fight with Giga kind of come together? Was this an opponent that you guys had on your radar at all?
No, Calvin doesn't care. Like Calvin will always say, like he does not care who he fights. Like, you just give a name and he'll like, give me the date. Like, so we we don't try to pick our opponents. We don't ask the UFC, oh, what about this guy? What about this guy? Like, they had offered us Arnold Allen for October. We said yes. That fight didn't materialize. And while we were waiting on the feedback on that, Giga fought Barboza. And so he wasn't really even on our radar because we thought we were fighting Allen. And then that fight didn't happen. And then the UFC came back and said, hey, we thought we were going to fight in December some time frame. And for a little bit, we thought we were going to be like on the same card as Rob and Aldo. So we thought okay, main event, co-main event, we'll camp together. And then it just didn't materialize. And then like, hey, we're going to do you guys versus Giga January 15th. We're like, okay, send the contract. So that was it. That's how it worked out.
I was kind of surprised to see that Giga is a little bit of a favorite right now, just given the strength of schedule between the two. But what do you think people see in Giga Chikadze to kind of get this hype? And do you think that all this hype is justified behind somebody like him?
I think it's a little bit of that. It's a lot of recency bias. I think it's more people counting Calvin out than it is giving Giga credit. Giga's been on a 7-0 run in the UFC. He just beat Barboza. He looked impressive in that win. So I think there's a little bit of the recency bias on that, but I also think there's a bunch of people that just think Calvin's not going to come back from the Max fight. Look how bad he looked in that fight. It's a year layoff. You don't come back from a fight like that. And it's like, okay, Ortega went through the same thing, and look how good he looked against Zombie. So, we took the time off that we needed, and we come back. We're not too concerned with the odds, but if I'm being honest, as Calvin's coach and knowing how his brain works, I'm glad we're an underdog because he puts those little chips on his shoulders, he stacks them up, and then he gets pissed off and he comes out there to prove everybody wrong.
Awesome. I was wondering, do you have a prediction for what this fight is going to look like? Obviously, I'm sure you guys have been watching a lot of tape. I was wondering if I could get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, it's just going to come down to whoever executes that night. At this level, when you're looking at top 10 guys in the UFC, it's whoever executes that night, and the only thing we can control is going out there and trying to do our best to make sure Calvin executes for those 25 minutes. And if he does that, you're going to see some violence. Calvin's coming off a loss, out a year, a lot of pent-up aggression that he wants to take out on Giga. So hopefully he comes out on January 15th and from the glove touch right away, just makes it a fight. And then, put Giga in a fight and see how he reacts.
I can't wait to see it. Before I let you go, I wanted to ask you about, kind of somebody that came into the limelight last year. Kris Moutinho has a fight for March 11th. He kind of turned into like an overnight star when he fought Sean O'Malley on that super short notice fight. Obviously known for his toughness in that fight, just a couple days notice if I'm not mistaken, but I'm sure he wants to be known for a little bit more than just his toughness. So what do you hope people see from him in March now that he actually has a full camp to prepare?
I think it's March 12th, but I could be wrong. But it would be nice to see him come off on a full camp. Really working on, I don't know, the last few months, he's really been trying to focus on his defense. And him just having a full camp to prepare for a veteran like Guido, right?
Yeah.
Guido, yeah. So having a full camp to prepare against a veteran like that, Guido's like 40, 41 years old. So he's been around the block, and Kris getting to go in there against a guy that's had a bunch of UFC fights, but on a full camp, I think it's exciting. Kris, even on the local scene, like he was special. Like he was always exciting. The thing that people don't realize about Kris is he's a great wrestler too. He's a great wrestler. He's got good jiu-jitsu, but he just wants to be exciting. He's kind of that, I want to go out there and bang. He's like a Julian Lane style where he just wants to go out and kill people. And his coaches are kind of like, all right, cool, but let's work on the defense too. So, I'm excited to see Kris on a full camp. He's got like a cult-like following right now. Some of the media outlets tell me that anytime they post Kris Moutinho, it's like the engagement is insane. And that's awesome. He's earned that, if you're going to go out there and get in wars like that, at least there's a rub on the back end from the sponsorship standpoint. So I'm excited to see him on a full camp. Regiment's doing a lot with him right now. Brian Raposo and Tommy Teixeira. So hopefully he comes out on a full camp and gets in there and does his thing and, gets his first win in the UFC, which is like something that a lot of fighters dream of since the first time that they strap up the gloves is making that walk in the UFC and get your hand raised.
It should be a big year for the cartel. Tyson, you've been so generous with your time today. Before I let you go, I wanted to give you the chance to anything you want to promote, anything you want to shout out, I'll give you the floor.
Yeah, no, just we appreciate everybody that's back in New England or even around the world that supports the cartel. I know we're a small team, but you know, we have a lot of people like sending messages daily to all of us, just being like, hey, we love the cartel, we love what you guys are doing. It's kind of us against the world. We're the, you know, the Bad News Bears MMA, and people, they seem to take on to that, and it resonates. So we appreciate all the support. It means more than you guys know. And you know, just keep supporting us, man, because we, you know, win, lose, or draw, we're always in exciting fights, and we're going to keep trying to you know, put New England on the map and show that New England MMA is some of the best in the world.
Awesome. Well, Tyson, thank you so much again. I'm wishing you guys the best of luck on January 15th. Can't wait to see it.
Thanks, brother.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching this video. If you like our content, be sure to subscribe to Full Man MMA. And while you're at it, make sure to hit the bell icon as well so you never miss an update from us.